Okay, so I want to take one last look at the Vasyl Lomachenko Jorge Linares fight. Just a few questions I had about that one. Just a few little points I want to discuss here. Congrats to Vasyl Lomachenko for winning 3 world titles in just a matter of 12 fights. Overall, I felt like the Lomachenko Linares fight, it was a good fight. It was definitely a good, entertaining fight, but I still can't say, like many people are saying, like Vasyl Lomachenko is this, a lot of people I see comments saying he's a boxing god or he's like this, dazzling genius. He's a good fighter. He's definitely a good fighter that deserves to be, in the top rankings as far as, his accomplishments today. But once you compare him to many of the other fighters like in the past, which, he has yet to be compared to a Floyd or a, Muhammad Ali, he's not on that level yet to be compared to these guys yet. So my thing is, like, for what he's doing now, he's destined for greatness. You can't say he's great now with, whenever he still has the better part of his career, ahead of him. But now I got that out of the way. I just want to say, yeah, the fight, it was overall a good, entertaining fight, and Lomachenko did what he was supposed to do, but didn't do exactly what all of these diehard fans felt he would do. See, if you're a hardcore fan, understand boxing, you know that this guy moving up to 135, he's going to be fighting the bigger, stronger guys. So the knockouts aren't going to come as easy. A lot of the things you've done in the past aren't going to be as easy when you're dealing with bigger, stronger guys. And somebody like Linares, you can't count him out. He's a guy who has over 40 fights, and he's won championships multiple times also. So a guy like this is going to give a guy like Lomachenko trouble. It's up to Lomachenko to overcome those problems and be able to get a guy out of there in dominant fashion. I can't really say he got Linares out of there in dominant fashion. He just did what he was supposed to do to prove that he is still on his way to greatness. Like, I won't say he's a great fighter, but he's on his way to greatness. But I just want to talk about the fight a little bit. The first half of the fight, it was closer than a lot of people felt it was. If you're really looking at the fight, which, like, I like to do, I like to watch the fight, and I try my best to turn down the commentating once it gets a little bit too biased. But I rewatched the fight twice, and I turned it all the way off this time on the second fight. But the second time I watched it. But I just felt like the fight, it was a lot closer than a lot of people were saying in the first half. I felt like Lomachenko was staying busy. He was throwing a lot of like pity pat punches and busy punches that were just kind of like winning over the crowd, and doing a lot of this movement that I felt was just a little bit too much at times. Whereas I felt Linares was still kind of doing what he wanted. It was just too little of what he was doing, throwing too many single shots. Like, there was a left hook I felt he was establishing to Lomachenko's body, but he wasn't throwing it enough. And he was getting his jab. He was pumping a good, strong jab out there a few times, that was starting to get Lomachenko's attention, I felt. And but I still felt that Lomachenko won the better half just because he was staying busier. He won the first half because he was staying busier with his hands. He was just still splitting the guard a little bit with the left hand. But I think that in the second half is kind of where Lomachenko was getting a little bit too confident and felt those little dazzling punches were kind of doing it for him, and he thought that was kind of frustrating Linares already. But Linares came back a few times, and he was able to kind of time Lomachenko and get that right hand in, because there was a round right before the knockdown where the right hand hit Lomachenko, and first time I watched it, the commentators didn't seem like they really noticed it, but that right hand kind of made Lomachenko's leg lock up a little bit. And, maybe he wasn't really hurt too bad, but there was a moment in that fight where he kind of, I think he kind of, that leg locked up, it made him kind of get up to attention and say, Linares is a little bit of a hard hitter, but he kind of went back to what he was doing, being a little bit overconfident, fighting with his hands down. And then the next round, he stepped in to a Linares right hand. And I mean, that power, 135 is different than, the weight classes below you, and I think he felt that. Of course, it wasn't like a concussive rocking shot, but when you're coming forward, a shot like that will put you on your backside, which it did. And I mean, I thought it was funny though, man. Like Linares, he didn't really try to capitalize off of that knockdown. He didn't really like try to go after him, because I felt at that moment Lomachenko was kind of had that embarrassed look on his face. He was like, oops, I was like, damn, I'm trying to be too flashy, I get knocked down. So he had that kind of on his mind, as well as, at the same time, it seemed like he would have had that on his mind, and also, worried about getting knocked down again. I thought Linares would have, tried to, close the show or go after him, but he kind of went back into that pace and that shell where, Lomachenko just made the adjustments. He kept his hands up and he just kept staying busy or landing harder punches now in the second half, where he was kind of splitting the guard and he was able to open a cut on Linares' eye. But after that, he was just kind of wearing Linares down to the 10th, and there was that body shot that landed, that left hook like a left uppercut to the body that just made him go down. From my angle, it just came kind of weird because the punch landed, but when he went down, it kind of seemed like it wasn't really just the shot that hurt him. It just seemed like he was fatigued, and it seemed like he wanted to get up. It was just kind of a overall weird reaction to a body shot, because you've seen guys in the past where they get hit, they go down and they're like crippled from that body shot and they're like grimacing in pain. But I just thought it was just kind of a weird reaction to it. But I mean, overall, yeah, it was just a good fight. I mean, he goes down and he gets stopped by it. You have to give credit to Lomachenko for being able to come back from a knockdown and close the show against a guy like Linares. But I just feel like the way fans are talking about Lomachenko, I just feel like they think he's more than he is, more so than he really believes he is. They really think that what he's doing has never been done before. But we've seen so many guys in the past, that have come through the game and, had to earn their respect the hard way, that a lot of people used to hate on. But like with Lomachenko, it's like, he can do no wrong, But I mean, I'm just trying to balance it out, because I feel like just as much as he's doing good in the ring, there's still some holes in the game that a lot of people don't want to mention, like being overconfident here, and, and a lot of the combination of punches at times just don't seem that hard to me. They don't really seem like it's really getting the attention of somebody. It wasn't really getting, it's not going to really get the attention of the harder, bigger, stronger guys like a Mikey Garcia. I think they're just gonna, a lot of these guys are gonna start timing that the more and more he, if he wants to go up higher in weight. But I mean, yeah, I don't really knock what Lomachenko was doing. It's more so the fans. I think they're more so trying to create this storybook out of him, where he's still like I said, he's still destined for his his greatness. From here he could get knocked out, and we don't know, he could just go down from here from here. We don't know how he might react to it. When you look in the UFC, somebody like Ronda Rousey, how she reacted to her first loss. We never know how somebody can react to another defeat, or their first defeat. So I'm just saying, like, overall, I just feel like Lomachenko, he is a good fighter, but a lot of the fans out there kind of surround him with a lot of negative energy. The way they compare him to some of the past fighters in the past, like Floyd Mayweather. They compare it to Andre Ward, or like a Terrence Crawford, like a Teddy Atlas. He'll go out of the way and actually put these guys who are undefeated below Vasyl Lomachenko, which is crazy. What I mean? Like, when you got a machine behind you, that's just kind of what it seems, people do sometimes. And like I said, you if you really watch boxing and understand boxing, you gotta really understand these fighters. Just don't look at the look. Just don't go by their look just because they have the look you like. You have to actually examine their resume and look at their hard work. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Lomachenko fan, but I give him his credit where it's due, as far as him being, like, a good fighter, somebody that could definitely make his way to the Hall of Fame. He's on the right path, but like I said, he still got the better half of his career coming up. So from here, the fights only get harder and harder. The more and more you want to step it up, win 3 world titles, you're gonna have to keep proving yourself again and again. And I mean, in this fight at 135, he just proved that the fights will get harder and harder for the type of fighter he is. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video, talk a little bit about the fight. And you know, like I said, you just got to find this balance between Lomachenko. Just don't get caught up in his look or whatever it is you physically like about the guy. You know, you got to judge all fighters the same, man. That's how I feel. But yeah, just leave me a comment below what y'all think. You know, whether you like the video or not. You know, y'all can subscribe. It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Peace.